Dave Chappelle, comedian extraordinaire, was recently on a Netflix is a Joke tour in Hollywood, I believe, and he was attacked while he was on stage during the course of his set. Now, because YouTube's terms of service are what they are, because they don't treat me fairly in comparison to other YouTubers and other content creators, I can't actually show you this very light video of Dave Chappelle being tackled by somebody who ran up on stage, but the guy did get up on stage. He did make contact with Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle and his entourage proceeded to stomp him out and severely injure this person. We're going to get into all that. We're going to talk about how it's definitely unhealthy to charge at Dave Chappelle, but first, we got to talk about other things that are good for your health. Health with Justice Transition sponsor transition. Studies have shown that our appearance has a huge impact on our mental health. This is one of the reasons why there are so many different anti-aging products out there on the market. But the thing is, those anti-aging projects, they're garbage. They're trash. You don't want them. Stop buying them. Instead, go over to Health with Justice and get yourself this multi-collagen powder. This is absolutely the best powder out there on the market. You put one scoop in your morning beverage every single day, and it adds the collagen that your body's losing production in, thus causing the aging problems, thus solving that problem. Look at my baby skin. Look at the glow. Oh my god, healthwithjustice.com. Get yourself 51% off. healthwithjustice.com. So during the course of Dave Chappelle's stand-up set, which was in a group of people who are sponsored by Netflix in their Netflix is the Joke series doing stand-up, a person ran up on the stage who was 23 years old, black male, and tackled Dave Chappelle. I'm not going to give you the name of this person because I don't want to give them any notoriety, but while we might seem like it's a little bit comedic and based on the limited videos out there, it might seem like it was no big deal. It turns out that this person had on him, when he went after Dave Chappelle, a replica gun that was concealing a knife, which, by the way, your security is trash if somebody thinks it's a good idea to sneak a knife in a replica gun. Now, I haven't seen this replica gun. I don't know how fake looking it possibly was. It could have been pink and purple or whatever, something to slip by security, but it seems rather odd that security would let this slip through. But then again, people make mistakes, security makes mistakes, and if you look at the limited videos, it is a huge crowd, and what the security seemed to be more focused on was making sure people don't have their cell phones on them, hence the limited footage that we have available to us. Now, obviously, Dave Chappelle being the target of this attack, and this attack coming post the Oscars, has brought up a lot of speculation, a lot of theories on why possibly this happened to him specifically. And I just want to point out that yes, we can talk about the fact that the transes have been targeting Dave Chappelle. They've been talking about how Dave Chappelle is causing suicide. They've been calling Dave Chappelle's words violence, and thus the response when you declare somebody's words to be an aggression or violence naturally is for you to commit violence in response to that. That's what the left is constantly doing when they're labeling words or jokes or anything like that actual violence. They're justifying the response of using physical force against somebody who said something you didn't like. So that is the natural result of the rhetoric that the left is pushing. However, at this very moment, we do not have any motivation for the person to attack Dave Chappelle. He is 23 years old, so likely 23, black, more likely to be left-wing than not, more likely to be super pro-transes than not. But again, this could easily be a crazy person who happens to be obsessed with Dave Chappelle, who unfortunately thought he was going to get away with attacking Dave Chappelle, which, by the way, he definitely did not, because the entourage stomped this guy out. About 30 people swarmed him after he went for this attack, and I would hope, unless he's mentally unsound, that he immediately regretted his decision.
Behind me on the DJ table is one of the most prolific producers that hip-hop has ever presented, the mighty Mad Lib. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for hip-hop history. I am going to kill that. Wait, I gotta see this. Thank God that was clumsy. He's back there getting stomped.
Now, there is video that is out there in the public, you can find it on theinternet.com, of this individual being loaded into the ambulance. However, I'm not going to show you that video because the video shows his arms in places that the human arm should not possibly be. Dave Chappelle's entourage took care of business with this guy who came on stage with a weapon and attacked one of the most famous comedians in this nation. Now, the other thing that I want to address, the other thing that I want to discuss, the other thing that I want to talk about is the issue of the Will Smith precedent, because Will Smith ran up on stage, smacked Chris Rock across the face, and this is feared to give other people license to charge the stage based on things that they hear that they didn't like. So the same basic idea with the transes, but not applicable specifically to the transes, because remember, the issue at hand was alopecia, supposedly, because Jada Pinkett Smith was not happy with Chris Rock telling a mild, non-offensive joke that Will Smith and Jada heard before. This is somehow a normal reaction that we should all expect, and something that shouldn't have been done privately in the rehearsal. It had to be done on national television for all the world to see, so Will Smith can allegedly attempt to reclaim his manhood, even though he's doing it based on his wife ordering him to defend her honor against jokes that she doesn't like, because she has such a gigantic ego, she can't take any criticism at all, and she needs Will Smith to act and destroy himself on her behalf, because that's how much control she has over him. Now, I hate to repeat myself too many times during the course of this video, even though those of you out there on theinternet.com love complaining about this, but in reality, we don't know if the Will Smith thing had any impact on this. We don't know if it made him feel entitled or emboldened to target Dave Chappelle, or if this was a standard, I'm obsessed with the celebrity, so I'm going to go after him because he doesn't acknowledge me, and I want to hurt him, or whatever those normal reasons why crazy people tend to target people in the limelight. We have no confirmation of this. I do want to point out that Chris Rock was in attendance, along with a bunch of other celebrities and comedians, and Chris Rock took this opportunity to go after Will Smith, take a shot at him, and it was hilarious.
Was that Will Smith?
Now, I also want to point out that the person in question was arrested in the state of California, and whenever you're arrested in the state of California, you know you're going to get a slap on the wrist, you know you're going to be treated with kid gloves, and even in this celebrity situation, this guy was only put up on $30,000 bond, even though he was arrested and charged with assault with a deadly weapon. Again, he snuck a replica gun, meaning he could have possibly snuck an actual gun, into this event. It had a knife in it, and he ran up on stage past security to attack one of the most prominent comedians in the world right now, one of the best comedians of all time, with weapons on him, and he's only being held on $30,000 bond, which means he only has to put up 10% of that, which of course is $3,000, meaning he could easily be out on the streets to offend again, just to add another facet of terribleness to this story, referencing, of course, California's terrible and awful criminal justice system that caters to the criminals rather than the victims of those crimes. So this guy could be out on the streets in a couple of days. It's going to take him about 6 to 8 weeks to recover from the injuries given to him by Dave Chappelle and his entourage. But again, California really dropping the ball.
Hey, my man, he's a bitch ass. Get that guy the fuck out of here. We gotta have some fun. Get that, clean that mess up. Get that out of here. Don't do this on the stage. Get him the fuck out of here. And an ambulance. Hold on, see what he's doing. I'm gonna see if this has a statement. I've been doing this 35 years. I just stomped the backstage. Always wanted to do that.
That is worthy of note. But overall, the big takeaway from this is that even though this person is likely an insane person, even though this person likely was specifically obsessed with Dave Chappelle and has nothing to do with political positions about whether or not you can go after comedians or about the transes issue, even though Dave Chappelle threw out a joke about that. And by the way, people are somehow insanely offended by the fact that Dave Chappelle made a joke about this person being a trans man after they attacked him. That's now the issue at hand.
Where did that come from? Thank you, son. It was a trans man.
Even though, again, making that the issue at hand, again, focuses on the words and not the violence, and the idea that words are somehow the equivalent or actually more bad or more terrible than violence, which is absurd in every possible way. This is still a very troubling sign in the United States of America. The idea that people think that they have the right, the entitlement, the ability, the capability to go after people on stage during these events because they don't like what they say, or because they're obsessed with them, or because whatever reasons, political motivations, who cares, we'll all find out about that later, is a terrible sign. This is a sign that was encouraged by the left wing. It's not something that just happens to stand-up comedians. This happens to conservative speakers when they go to college campuses. We've seen the near riots that have broken out when the wrong person was invited to speak at Berkeley or any of these other institutions. I just did the story about Jeffrey Younger, the father of James Younger, when he spoke at Denton, I believe, UT Denton, whatever Texas calls their universities, but this one was in Denton, and how these people were freaking out, they were spurging out. This lady was screaming constantly and consistently throughout the course of the speech, and it's all based on the idea that we're substituting and blurring the lines between words and actual violence, and thus that is being used as a mechanism to justify actual physical violence. It's shameful in every possible way, and whether or not this case is an example of this, it's a noticeable and disturbing trend, and we should all be alert to it. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you liked the video, you can show me by leaving a like. You can subscribe for more content. You can follow me on all my social medias. You can support me via the support links in the description box. This has been me talking about Dave Chappelle being attacked. Till next time.